And I think it's very important for everybody to be engaged because that everybody's on the same page.
It's about, who's willing to change gears at the right time.
Go out, go have fun, and just take it to them.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler. It's time for another edition of the Chris Richardson Show. Currently joined by Wheeling University head men's basketball coach Chris Richardson. And Chris, big week for you guys. You go 2-1 across 3 games, 2 in conference. Talk about the last week overall and what you saw.
Yeah, getting into the kind of the routine here, which won't last very long because we go right into Christmas break after this next game. But yeah, you got to be ready to play every night. You got to be ready to play on the road. You got to be ready to play at home. Got to be ready to play on a neutral court. And we learned all 3 of those things over the past week. And didn't play well to start the game at West Virginia State, but really liked the way that we finished the game. We just dug too big of a hole. They made a lot of plays. We were able to kind of get back in the game with our pressure and generate some offense from our defense, which was good for us. And then we were able to do the same thing on Saturday against Charleston at home. Played better overall on Saturday than we had in probably a couple of weeks. But our pressure, again, was really the difference in the game. And having that as a tool to go to is really good for this team. This team can really score. This team passes the ball well. It shoots the ball well. But you got to be able to win on nights where you don't necessarily make all the shots and you're not at your best offensively. And we have a couple different things, the pressure being one of them, that we can go to do that. And so we were able to do that Saturday. Aiden Gall hit a big-time shot at the end. Our guys made winning plays. T. Harris with a big chase-down block and then another block shot that turned into a jump ball to kind of set up the, very important possession there. So really proud of the way that we just continue to compete. Monday at West Banco Arena against Franciscan, we didn't come out with any energy. There's no excuse for that. We have to be ready to play, and that ultimately comes back on me as the head coach. And so we'll be ready to play Wednesday night against Davis and Elkins, and I think we learned a lot about ourselves over the past week just in terms of how good we can be when we play hard, but also how small our margin for error is.
And you mentioned that ball pressure. That was really evident against Franciscan, especially late in the game. You caused some big turnovers there late that led to you winning that game. Talk about that defense and that ball pressure and how that's grown through the year.
Yeah, we've got pieces that we can do it because it allows you to play more guys, and we've got a lot of guys that have a valid argument for earning playing time. And so you only got 200 minutes in a game. You got to figure out a way to get everybody in as much as you can, and also most importantly, got to figure out a way to win the game. And so it doesn't work with every single lineup that we can put out there, but it works with some, and we've been able to play those lineups the last couple of games. It gets the guys. It takes so much energy, but it also creates a lot of energy. And so it gets everybody excited when you do that. Don't think it's something we're going to do for 40 minutes necessarily, but it allows us to, get the game sped up and generate some turnovers and get some quick baskets.
And guy's been on fire for you as late. Aiden Gall hit that game winner against Charleston, career high 23 there, puts up 21 on Monday. Talk about what's been working for him.
I just think he's doing a good job letting the game come to him. 5 assists, no turnovers against Franciscan. I think he leads them out in the East in assists, but he can score too. And so, I think he understands that as the point guard, a lot of times you got to eat last. You got to let everybody else fill up their plate first. You got to help them fill up their plate, and then there's plenty of opportunities for you when you do that because it opens up more space. And he gets that. He's a high IQ kid. He's very conscientious. Loves watching film. Loves being critiqued and critiquing himself so that he can get better. Most importantly, he's a great teammate. The guys love him. And so he's been really good for us and made some big plays, not just big shots, but just his maturity, his composure for a redshirt freshman is very rare. And excited about what he's done so far and really excited about what he can continue to do for us in our team.
And one of the guys who's been a leader on the defensive side, T. Harris, didn't score any against Charleston, but pulls down 8 rebounds, a couple of big blocks. Then Franciscan gets a double-double, a couple of big blocks as well. Talk about his defensive game and how it's grown.
I think you're really seeing his growth. We know T can score. I think he was our leading returning scorer of guys coming back. I'm not sure about that, but he's had some big games, scoring-wise. He's had some big games shooting-wise. But what I'm really proud of with T, and I talked to him about this after the Charleston game, is he had 0 points in that game. But he made some big plays on defense, not just with the block shots that we talked about, but rebounding. And, when I had my short stint in the NBA with the Grizzlies, one thing that our general manager, it's my mentor, he always talked about is, all right, like most of these guys you're looking at for the draft, they're going to have good scoring numbers because they're probably the best player on their team wherever they're coming from. What can they do to impact the team? Because you're probably not going to be a scorer in the NBA. This is what he's saying 17, 18 years ago. So what can you do to impact the game when you're not scoring? And what he looked for and other scouts look for and what we look for when we recruit in our program, how can you impact the game without the ball? What is your activity like? And you can see that with steals. You can see that when you're watching tape or watching them live and you see they get a lot of deflections. You can see that with block shots. You can see that with rebounds. And T's been able to do all those things. And so if he can continue to do that, not only is it going to help him be a much more difficult player to go against, but it's going to help our team be a much more difficult team to go against. And his activity, it kind of gets everybody else going because he's such a likable guy. And just that play, I'll never forget that play, that chase down block after we turned it over. And he was involved in the turnover. It was a handoff play. We didn't take a good angle on it. We weren't sure with the ball. Charleston makes a great play, pokes it away. It looks like the guy's got an uncontested layup, and T did not give up on the play. And that is the quintessential winning play. And so if he can continue to be active, it's going to open things up for him scoring-wise as well. I truly believe that, and it's going to help our team be that much harder to play against.
Currently joined by Wheeling University head men's basketball coach Chris Richardson. And Chris, over these last 2 wins, you've had some big moments late in games, even though you might have not been making shots early on. What confidence does that give your guys knowing that they still have that fight in them as the game comes to the end?
Yeah, just to be clear, we'd rather not put ourselves in that position where we have to rally, from 6 down with just a few minutes left. But no, it speaks to their maturity. It speaks to their character. I think it speaks to the environment that we have in our program that we've got a group of guys that believe in grit and togetherness and giving everything you have until the clock strikes 0. Saw that at State, even though we didn't win the game. So we got to continue to understand that. We got to understand how hard we have to play. We have to play harder than the other team that we're playing and more enthusiastic than the other team we're playing. When we do that, we're really good.
You guys getting Davidson Elkins here this week to wrap up your first half schedule. Talk a little bit about the Senators and kind of what they're bringing.
They play extremely hard. They got some guys that can really shoot the ball. They got some veterans. They're big. They're athletic. They do a great job pressuring both in the full court and the half court. The key for us is to take care of the ball. We have to take care of the ball, keep them from generating offense with their defense, and then we've got to be able to do the opposite. We got to generate some offense with our defense. And so they've got a really good team. They've won 3 in a row coming in. And in the last 2 of those games against Salem and Point Park, they have just come out guns a-blazing from the start and build a big lead that they're never threatened over the course of the game. So it's imperative that we get off to a good start. I know Coach Harris down there is telling his team the same thing. They got to get off to a good start. And so we got to have a great practice. We're filming this before practice on Tuesday. We got to have a great practice today, understand our game plan and locking in on what we have to do. And then we got to go out there and do it for 40 minutes. It's a Mountain East game. It's a big game. Every game is big in the Mountain East Conference, but especially your next game because your next game is going to impact, the games after that. And so I hope that the lesson we learned from Monday at West Banco Arena is the importance of coming out with the most enthusiasm, the most energy, and the most urgency. And if I know our older guys, they've been carrying that message since the end of the game, probably since the beginning of the game yesterday, since we got off to the bad start. So excited to see our team today and how they respond to yesterday. We talk about that word a lot, response. Response takes discipline. Reaction is undisciplined. So I want to see us respond to where we're at and the opportunity we have in front of us and not simply react.
And finally, after this game, you guys go on Christmas break, not back till January 3rd. Talk about how this break's going to help your guys kind of rejuvenate and get ready for the second half stretch.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, number one thing is that they enjoy their Christmas and spend time with their family and, remember the reason for the season. But basketball-wise, you hope that they stay in the gym. You hope that they stay in some sort of routine, lifting weights, getting their cardio in, but not doing so much that they come back burnt out and they come back tired because – once we get back, the way that our new conference schedule works this year, we're playing conference games from the rip after break. And that's a good thing for us big picture-wise because it puts our conference in a great position from an NCAA tournament standpoint. And allows us to play more non-conference games early against the teams that we're competing with for NCAA tournament bids as a conference. But, we have to come back focused and rejuvenated, sure, but we need that same energy, and we need to understand that when we get back here, it's all about winning and more importantly, getting better so that we can win big picture-wise down the stretch of the season when we want to be playing our best. So I love it. It gives us an opportunity to get out and recruit, spend a little bit more time with family, kind of take a step back and self-scout a little bit, see things we're doing great, see things we're not doing so well that we need to improve on. And it's a great time of year. And then when you get back, as much as we love class, and we do love class, it's just basketball. It's basketball and spending time together. So we'll do some team-building stuff when we get back. My son told our guys the other day after the game, he came in the locker room, my 7-year-old son, Corey, and he said, since you guys won that one, I'm going to take you out to, I think it's called Seven Ranges. It's a big arcade and bowling alley in Steubenville. So I guess we'll be doing that. Hard to let the little guy down. So, it gives us a chance when we get back to spend some time together, continue to grow closer as a group of men. And you hope that helps you build chemistry that carries over onto the court as well.
Thanks, Chris. Good luck this week. Can't wait to see you out there.
Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.
And I think it's very important for everybody to be engaged because that everybody's on the same page.
It's about, who's willing to change gears at the right time.
Go out, go have fun, and just take it to them.